She thought it was $600. I paid her $13,935. Today's show began in a delightfully unusual way, as the host appeared in a playful costume. The reason soon became clear. He had lost a bet with his fans and kept his promise by wearing an outfit no one could take seriously. The entire studio burst into laughter, and the relaxed mood set the tone for the conversation that followed. Shortly after the laughter settled, a guest presented an Eisenhower dollar from the 1970s. He believed it was a genuine silver coin with rare collectible value. With professionalism and a touch of humor, the host carefully explained the truth. The Eisenhower dollar does hold historical significance, since it was released during a period when the United States celebrated achievements in space exploration. However, the coin itself was struck mainly in base metal and was issued as regular currency. Contrary to common assumptions, it was not pure silver, and therefore not particularly rare. This moment blended education with entertainment in a natural way. Viewers not only gained transparent and accurate information about the coin, but also enjoyed the warm and approachable delivery of the explanation. The exchange closed with a light but memorable lesson. Sometimes, what we imagine to be a hidden treasure is in fact a simple keepsake. Yet even those ordinary items carry value in their ability to connect us with history and remind us of the stories behind them. A guest walked into the shop with eyes full of both hope and worry. In her hands were two rings, one set with a small diamond and the other with a blue sapphire. She hoped to sell them for $500 and $400. The host welcomed her story with warmth and then carefully explained that small diamonds, although pretty and sparkling, do not carry as much value as many people assume. Smaller stones are harder to resell, and the market does not usually assign them a high price. The story did not end there. The woman then opened a small box, revealing several old gold pieces of jewelry. With a hint of shyness in her voice, she shared that she needed money to buy a used laptop for her daughter who is studying. At that moment, the atmosphere softened and grew more emotional. The host remained professional, offering clear and transparent information about the true value of each item, while also showing empathy through his tone. The exchange was both practical and touching, leaving viewers with the sense that material worth and emotional meaning often travel together in their own unique way. In an atmosphere filled with anticipation, the woman gently placed her familiar pieces of jewelry on the appraisal table. Her eyes showed both trust and hesitation, and she estimated their total value at only about $600. It was a figure she guessed from her own experience, believing that old pieces could not be worth much anymore. The host smiled warmly and began examining each detail. Every bracelet and every stone was carefully inspected under specialized lights. The studio atmosphere shifted into one of suspense as everyone wondered what the true result would be. At last, the host announced a figure that left everyone stunned. The actual value of the jewelry was around $15,000. In that instant, the woman could not hold back her emotions. Her eyes sparkled with joy and disbelief, while the audience erupted into applause, sharing in her happiness. The scene was both surprising and heartwarming, serving as proof that transparent appraisal not only provides knowledge, but also creates unforgettable moments. After a thorough appraisal and fair negotiation, the final agreement was reached. The woman received $6,000 in cash, along with a check for $7,935, making a total of $13,935. This amount was far beyond her original expectations, and clearly brought her an undescribable sense of joy. The host could not hide his emotions as he shared his thoughts. He expressed how truly happy he felt to be able to help her in this situation. She was a widow who once believed that her old pieces of jewelry were only worth a small sum, just enough to cover simple needs. In reality, they carried far greater value and became a significant source of support for her life. That moment touched the entire audience, leaving them both surprised and warmed. It was more than just a story about money or collectibles. It was proof that transparency and professionalism can bring hope, joy, and trust to those who need it most. Throughout the appraisal session, the studio was filled with curiosity and anticipation. The woman brought in her collection of gold jewelry with the simple thought that they were just old pieces with little remaining value. Yet at that time, the market price of gold was high, which made her collection far more valuable than she had imagined. Each bracelet and each chain placed on the scale revealed a significant increase in real worth. The host spoke with complete transparency, explaining that in the appraisal business, it is not uncommon for buyers to offer a lower price in order to make negotiations easier. But in this case, he chose a different approach. He emphasized that he wanted to pay the full and fair value of the collection, because what mattered most was not merely closing a transaction, but ensuring fairness and maintaining trust. That decision did more than surprise the woman. It deeply moved her. The audience also felt the humanity behind the numbers. She had once thought her jewelry would only be enough to bring in a modest amount, but instead, it provided a much more meaningful source of support for her life. The story carried both practical and emotional weight, showing viewers that transparency and fairness can create more lasting value than any short-term profit. This was precisely the kind of moment that gave the program its appeal, where knowledge, emotion, and trust were brought together in a complete and memorable way. Wow! She thought it was worth $600 and walked away nearly with $13,935. Stories like this make me wonder, what hidden treasures might we all have lying around at home? What would you do if you got that kind of surprise?